let's get to the hardest game left on the schedule for Texas. Texas plays Oklahoma. They play Georgia. They play at Vanderbilt. They have a bye week. And then they play Florida, at Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M. I rank these. Number one is still Georgia for me. They have too much talent. They're going to be motivated. What's going to be preached by Kirby Smart is the last time we went on the road and played a very good football team, Alabama, we got spanked. Do not let it happen again. Put your pride on the line. Put your ego on the line. You cannot let this happen again. I think they're able to compete versus Texas because of that. I think if they're able to find explosive plays like they were versus Alabama in the second half, they could win the football game. My issue with Georgia is this is the weakest defense they've had in the last 4 or 5 years, on top of having the weakest playmakers on the offensive side of the football. On top of, in my opinion, having Carson Beck, who is the most overrated quarterback in the country. So it's a bad, honestly, year for Georgia all around. I don't think they're great anywhere. I don't think they're great at quarterback. I don't think they're great at wide receiver. They're not great on defense. The only thing I would say they're great at is their offensive line. I think their offensive line is very good. I think their running game is good. I don't think it's great. I think if they went with Nate Frazier, it might be great. I think he's better than Trevor Etienne. I said that I think Trevor Etienne was the most overrated upgrade at running back for any team. So they are still my number one. It's just the pure talent that they have on the football team. They are my number one team for Texas that could trip Texas up. Number two, and I actually predicted this team to beat Texas preseason, is the Kentucky Wildcats. I think they have the perfect recipe and perfect team to execute the game plan necessary to beat Texas. To beat Texas, you have to win time of possession. To beat Texas, you have to have third down conversions. To beat Texas, you have to have a very good defensive line that might be able to push around the offensive line. Check, check, and check. This team has a good enough running game, especially with Brock Vandagriff scrambling around, to win time of possession. I think they're able to do enough on third down. And hopefully they can set themselves up, or not hopefully for me, but hopefully if you're a Kentucky fan, you can set yourself up on first down to avoid the third and long, and then you can run the football on third down. And then also Walker, Malik Harrison, or Harrison, is either Harrison or Harrison, the cornerback, is going to play in the NFL. Smoke Dumas Johnson at linebacker position is going to play in the NFL. Walker, defensive tackles, going to play in the NFL. You have an NFL player every layer of that defense. They are a good football team. I thought they'd go 8-4. I think they're on track to do just that, if not better. So I think Kentucky is our second hardest game right now looking at the schedule. Number three is the team we play this week, Oklahoma. I don't care who they have at quarterback. I don't care who they have at offensive line. I don't care how many damn wide receivers they have hurt. I don't care if they're only running the ball for like 3 yards per carry. Their defense is still good. This is a rivalry game. They have won 17 of the last 24. They deserve to talk smack to Texas as of this moment. They have been the better football program. I mean, they're the better football program overall, and they have dominated this rivalry recently. We still have the head-to-head record if you go all time, which to me, if you're going to draw any line in the sand, it's either all time or after integration you can draw the line. I think we're exactly even, or they're a little bit better after integration, but obviously all time we're better. But they have dominated it the last 24 years. Like I said, 17-7. They've won 7 of the last 10. It has been close, though. 9 out of the last 10 games has been decided by 8 or less points. I think this is going to be a somewhat decent football game. I'm not going to break that down too much right now before we get into it. But I'm not going to say this team's going to lose to Texas by a lot. I think it's going to be somewhat close, and then maybe Texas pulls away at the end. But I'm still going to give them some respect. They're the third hardest on our schedule left. Number 4, I do have Texas A&M. That environment Texas will walk into will be the most hostile environment any team walks into this year, and it will not be close. These people hate Texas. And the difference between Texas and Oklahoma fans is I believe Texas and Oklahoma fans have respect for each other. Texas fans, including myself, have no respect for Texas A&M. Texas A&M fans that I know have no respect for Texas. We legitimately hate each other. And Texas hates Texas A&M because they talk a lot of smack for literally doing nothing. They've never done anything. Since 1939, they haven't won a championship. They haven't won a Big 12 championship or a conference championship since 1998, I believe. So there's a lack of respect there. Ticket prices are insane, guys. The cheapest ticket as of now is $501. That is to stand in the stadium at $501. If Texas A&M can run that schedule, if Texas can run their schedule, and there's an SEC championship game or a college football playoff game at stake, that's going to be $800 at minimum. This is going to be an insane game to watch. It's going to be an insane game to be a part of. That is why Texas A&M is fourth. Honestly, if we're calling neutral field, they'd probably be lower than this. Number 5, I'd actually probably put this next team above them. At Arkansas, again, kind of the same thing. They do not like Texas. The last time Texas went there was one of the most hostile environments I have ever watched Texas walk into. Texas absolutely got steamrolled by that team. They allowed over 300 yards rushing. You could tell. Sark on the sideline was like, this is going to be harder than I thought. This is not what I expected. I don't think it's going to happen again, but Arkansas is a good football team, just like they were back then. It kind of worked out that way where both the last 2 times we played, they've been a pretty damn good football team. Last time we were way worse than them. This year we're better, but they're still a good football team. We're not going to spend too much time on these other ones. Number 6 is Vanderbilt. Didn't think I'd be saying that. I thought I'd have this next team up before them in Florida. Florida's the last one on this list. But Vanderbilt earned my respect this weekend. Clark Lee has it going in somewhat the right direction. Let's see what he does after Diego Pavia leaves. But still, that guy scares me. He's a gamer. He's hard-nosed. He's a competitor at the quarterback position. They're going to be schemed up well because you have Jerry Kill and that New Mexico State staff there as well. Plus, Clark Lee's not bad on the defensive side of the ball, scheming things up. So they are my 6th team. Number 7, I do have Florida. I just don't think they're that good of a football team. I don't think they're that well coached. There's a good chance Billy Napier's not there. We'll see. He's basically playing week to week for his job at this point, but they are the 7th team I am most worried about and the 7th hardest game left on the schedule. So the easiest game really left on the schedule for Texas. And I rank that basically of who I think we could lose to in order. I'll run that down real quick. I have Georgia 1, Kentucky 2, OU 3, A&M 4, Arkansas 5, Vandy 6, and Florida 7 is the order for that. Let's jump into your comments. Martin Diablo Boomer, prayers both teams have 0 injuries this Sunday. Yes, absolutely. Never want any injuries. I want both teams fully healthy. I thought this was an Oklahoma show, not this redheaded Texas booker. It's a both show, buddy. Georgia is rough. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. 1998 was the last time Texas A&M won the Big 12, and they didn't even beat Texas that year. Thank you for that information. I knew 1998 was the last time they won. I did not know they didn't beat Texas that year either, so that's pretty funny.